Hey everybody, it's me, Cyrus, and this is Video Game Virus. Well, it's no secret, I am a big fan of the Intellivision, and there's a new Intellivision coming. It's called the Intellivision Amico. The man behind it is a friend of mine. His name is Tommy Tallarico, and he's our special guest today.
Oh, so I had really liked when I first made like a Photoshop version of it, just myself, and I'm not an artist at all. But I liked the way I always felt the eye that was kind of in the middle. I always felt like the eye could be like a globe,
Hmm.
like the world turning or whatever, like bringing people together. I always thought that would be kind of, and other companies have done this. Again, this isn't a new idea, but that I always kind of felt that in my head for some reason. But then when you put it on paper, and then our John, as you know, John's wonderful mustache, John Alvarado, he actually started putting some ideas together with the A and the M and this and that, just on our own. We would just do it on our spare time. And then Mike Dietz, our art director, who was, did great games such as, Disney's Aladdin, Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. He's been me, John, and Mike have known each other and worked with each other for 30 years. And so then when Mike got a hold of it, that's when it all kind of came to be. And we were talking about it, and he says, it almost like the A almost feels like a a smiley face.
Mm.
How it's like, it's almost like the hair. And again, we didn't have the smile. The smile used to be like straight across, and then Mike just came in and he goes, you know what, we should tilt it a little bit, just to kind of give it like more of a human thing or whatever. And then we all felt from the beginning, we're like, oh my gosh, the M, if we draw it in a certain way, it's actually could be a heart. So it's the heart there. And then of course the I is the world, and then the C and the O are kind of like, if you do it right and you animate it right, it kind of looks like googly fun eyes, like comedic kind of thing. So you got the AM, the first part of it, which represents the mother and the child. So when you look at the logo as it animates, you can see that, the heart, that the A, or the mother, kind of nudges the M, kind of snuggles the M, and that's when the heart pops, and they kind of like hug and come together. Now the world, but the first thing you see is the I, which is the planet coming down, which is now everybody's going to come together. The world is going to come down and bring everyone together. Wow. And then the mom does that. And then the CO, kind of the goofiness, the fun, playfulness of it all. We never want to take ourselves too seriously. So again, even the logo itself, you think about, the family, the world, kind of representing almost co-op multiplayer, and then the fun and the goofiness of it all. And then the actual sound, when I did the sound design, there's over 40 tracks of audio in that logo. I think I spent 2.5 days on it. And what I wanted to do, and this comes from, now we'll get in a little bit of Willy Wonka. I would always think about that scene in Willy Wonka. There's a couple of scenes. There's one where when he starts the everlasting gobstopper machine, right? And then when he's in the inventing room, and then they do the machine with the gum that tastes all the different flavors, and and then there was the Wonka Wonka wash, spelled backwards, Hawasaga, or whatever it is, where they get on that thing and and those sounds in that movie always like, so whenever I thought about creating the sounds for Amico, I'm like, I want it to sound like a toy factory,
Hmm.
but kind of like that Wonka, I want it to sound like that, but I want to use like real life sounds and like organic instruments. Like I don't want to, I don't want to use like an electric guitar or a big, even like a big orchestra hit or piano run or anything like that. So I used really odd instruments and really um for the musical and again keeping the Italian stuff in there. For example, the like that's an Italian mandolin. Mandolins were it's a very Italian, if you remember the Godfather theme, it's done on a mandolin, right? So I used it. I'm like, okay, I have this Italian mandolin that I bought, and I used to play it on stage for the because there was a mandolin part in Assassin's Creed 4, which was done by Brian Tyler, who does like all the big Marvel movies. Like he's just amazing. So I worked with Brian on this arrangement for Video Games Live for Assassin's Creed 4, and it had the mandolin in it. So I had the mandolin hanging around. I'm like, okay, put that in. The other thing though, I don't know if you can see right here in the corner. So my favorite color is red, so you can see the red, but those are like chakra bowls.
Oh, okay.
Right? So chakra bowls, again, getting a little bit into the metaphysical or spiritual realm now. Those are bowls where you kind of, if you hit them, boom. A lot of people use them for like meditation and things like that. Or you can like, kind of rim them like, like a wine glass kind of thing. There's different ways, but people actually like play them. And so when you hear that boom, that's that red chakra bowl right there. And again, if red not only being my favorite color, but if you look up what the red chakra is, it'll start to make sense. So everything, there's so many things that like tie into everything. And so I wanted to sound like a fun toy factory, but using, there's a hurdy-gurdy in there as well. I don't know if people even know what a hurdy-gurdy is.
What is that? Like just
it's this crazy. Google it when you get
Okay.
a chance. It's spelled Hurdy, hurdy, and then I think Gurd, or maybe it's IE or Y. I don't remember. It'll come up if you put in hurdy-gurdy. Google will figure it out for you. Yeah, I think it's Y's. But it's this kind of ancient instrument that you kind of crank, and you crank it, and you can like you can almost like pluck it, but it's like a cross between a bagpipe and like an erhu, if you know what the Chinese erhu instrument is, which is this horse hair thing in a cup, and they use it in and now I'm really musically geeking out right now, but they use it in Uncharted.
Oh, okay.
They use a lot of Chinese music, but it's actually in the beginning of the Uncharted theme. And so I had one of those because I would play that on stage when we would play Uncharted in video games. So I had one of those hanging around. So it was just like, I wanted to use all these like really cool instruments that people would, and there's a music box in there as well. Like a music crank, pring, at the very end, pring. It was just, I had programmed a music box, and I just thought it would be fun because, again, it brings me back to our childhood, right? You think about your childhood. Remember your parents would get you these little, I don't even, do they, I'm sure they're still around, but the music box you'd crank up and it would play like Beethoven or Furlise or whatever it is, and it was something that reminded me of my childhood. So again, I thought that would be cool. So you end it with a ping out of it, and I had to make it. I literally had to make it. So
Intellivision. Together again.